G'day everyone, Matt from Overland Travelers here. Now today I'm going to do a video on what has our Troopy, our brand new Troopy, cost so far to build. I'd consider stage one of the Troopy done, so I thought it would be a good time to run through the costs involved in doing something like this. Also, people have been asking about it a lot because they have Troopies on order themselves and they would like to know how much is this going to set me back. So we'll run into the costs now. So before I get into the costs of the vehicle, I thought I would just do a quick disclaimer about products that we have on the car and the fact that some of them are sponsored and some are not. So playing devil's advocate here, I can see why people are dubious about YouTubers giving good reviews to products that have sponsored them. I completely get that. In reality, it's actually quite different to how it works. For Holly and I, this has been a dream car for many, many years. And all the products that are going on it are stuff that we genuinely want. We had this car on order for 15 months and it gave me a lot of time to research the products I wanted and also contact the companies that I wanted to work with. So I think probably 80% of the products that are sponsored are companies that I have approached and said, look, I really like your products. This is what we do. Are you keen to jump on board for the build? Sometimes they watch our stuff, makes it really easy. And some of the gear are companies that we have worked with for a long time. For example, Redder. We've had Redder on Elsie now for a while and I just really like the company. I like the gear and it works really well. And that has just gone across into our next build. So just keep in mind, I'm not trying to deceive anyone. I'm not trying to intentionally lie about a product for monetary gains. We're simply just trying to build the best possible car that we can build in our current situation. And our current situation is we're very, very lucky because of this YouTube channel. We get a lot of opportunities to work with some incredible companies. And all that is because of you guys watching the videos. Without you guys watching and subscribing and commenting, this all wouldn't be possible. So I definitely have you guys to thank for that. And I want to do right by you and only recommend products that I genuinely believe in. A lot of the products I have on the car I do give very favorable reviews to, but it's generally because they're just really good products that work. They've been tried and tested. They're from companies. A lot of them are Australian brands. A lot of them have been in the game for a long time, and their products are simply just good products. And I don't really have many bad things to say about them. So I can see where you're coming from if you're a bit dubious about what products are sponsored, you know, and what YouTubers are saying about them. And some YouTubers are paid a lot of money to say certain things about products. For us, that's just not the case. It's usually just getting the product for either a discounted rate or for free. We put it on the car, we do an install video, it gets it out to our audience, and then we use it in a real life situation, out touring and in the bush. And generally I give my thoughts on a product as we use it. So yeah, quick disclaimer there. I will tell you as I'm running through the products, what products have been sponsored, what products we've paid for, and what products we have at a discount, that kind of thing. Also to note, this car is definitely, it's not a cheap exercise doing this kind of thing to a brand new car, especially a Landcruiser. They're not cheap cars for what they are. They're a very basic car. You're paying for a blank canvas. And for some people watching, this might just seem so unobtainable, and it is for some people. For Holly and I, a couple of years ago, we definitely wouldn't have been able to afford something like this. This would have been so far out of our range. And we've proven that you can travel on a budget. This car might not be obtainable, but the dream of touring and traveling Australia is certainly obtainable on a very strict budget. I mean, people jump on the road in a clapped out van with a couple $100 in their pocket and work around Australia, and they have the best time ever. And I think for Holly and I, we've had just as good a time with our old Hilux setup, which was as budget as you could get, through to Elsie and through to our new Troopy. We have a great time touring, and the experience is essentially the same the whole way around. It's just sort of the convenience and practicality of the products, and to some extent where you can go. So I think, yeah, for people watching and they're going, geez, this is so out of my range, just think you can get a cheap 75 or 78 series Troopy with a 1HZ in it, probably, you know, 25, 30 grand if you look really hard these days. They are pretty expensive for a second-hand car, but you know, you can pick one up like that and you can do all the work yourself on the car, and it will go the exact same places that our new Troopy will go. So I thought I'd just get that out there as well. So let's start running into the costs of our Troopy. So I thought I'd just start with the Troopy itself. We actually bought the car unregistered, and we got it at a pretty good price just before sort of all the price hikes started, before this next model's come out with the GVM upgrade, etc. And we got the car drive away unregistered for, I think, around 72 grand. So once it's sort of registered and you pay your stamp duty and everything, it's probably like 73 and a half, which is pretty good because there's a lot of misconceptions about how much the 70 series costs out there. People say 90, 100 grand, and for brand new secondhand vehicles that you can get now, people are paying those prices just because there is such a long wait time on these vehicles at the moment. As I said, we waited 15 months, so people are paying a massive premium to have that privilege of having the car right now. But if you can wait, I'd say it's going to set you back anywhere sort of 75 to 76, 77 grand these days. So definitely not a cheap car when you compare it to other four-wheel drives, but I honestly think the 70 series Troopy Carrier is probably the best two-person touring platform you can possibly buy at the moment. Okay, so let's start off with the actual costs of the accessories that have gone on the car. So I've just got my laptop here, so I'll be referring to that. So starting off with the Shieldman seats. Hello, Matt from the future here. Sorry to cut in like this. I got some prices wrong for the Shieldman seats, so I'm just gonna have to refilm this bit. I'm gonna jump in here. First off, we love the Shieldman seats. They're a fantastic seat. The quality, the build quality of them, just our comfort. I've always said they're the only seat my back doesn't get sore in when I travel in. So I don't think we could have done the trips in Elsie that we did without the seats that we've had. They're in the new Troopy now in a custom trim. We love them. We have the Vario XXLs, so the big seats, plenty of features. I'll read out the prices and the trims now. So you've got the Vario F, which is the smaller version for $2,800 in the standard trim, and the Vario F XXL, which is what we have in Elsie, are $3,000 each. If you want custom trim for the Vario F, it's $3,300, and for the Vario F XXL, it's $3,500 each. Now, the standard features that are included on the seats are pretty good. You do get heated seats from standard, which is usually a added extra on your other seats. Those prices are pretty standard across, you know, if you're looking at your Stratos, your Recaros, and, you know, your Shieldman, they're all around the same price, but you are getting some really good standard features in the Shieldman seats. Also, the adapter kits are $330 for the pair, depending on what vehicle you have. So there are limited adapter kits for certain vehicles, so just check with Shieldman Australia if your seats can be put in your car. Yes, we are sponsored by Shieldman, or they have provided the seats, but we do love them and they're a great option to have. All right, back to Matt in the past. All right, keeping with the interior, our one Stone Armrests, the armrest is on the side. They are fantastic. You know, you got your cup holder, you can rest your arm, just makes driving that much nicer. They are $240. I think they're a really good gift for someone if you're looking for like a Christmas present, has a 70 series. They're just sort of a relatively cheap modification that just improves your driving comfort. So I think that's a great thing to do. Okay, moving on to some of the more major things now. Going on to our GVM upgrade and track correction. Now, this is all in one kit, even though the components are from multiple companies. This essentially is from Multi-Drive. That includes the track correction, the True Tracker track correction, and the GVM upgrade, which is the 2-inch parabolic 3780 upgrade from Terrain Tamer. That's all in a kit from Multi-Drive. And the advantages of getting it in that kit is that it is all engineered. It's pre-engineered. You can get your second stage manufacturing for that gear. So that can be installed before registration, and then your car will be registered as a 3780 GVM vehicle with a track correction. So it's a massive upgrade. The cost of that is around 13 to 15K depending on install. Now, you're getting a lot for that 13 to 15K. You're getting a track correction. Now, it is the cheapest fully engineered track correction on the market. It's not a diff replacement, it's a diff sort of extension. I think for a Troopy, because we're not going to be going that heavy with the Troopy, you're not going to be going over your 4-ton, hopefully, as opposed to a lot of 79s, which do go over that weight. I don't know if a diff replacement is entirely necessary. I think the True Tracker is perfectly adequate. And also, the diff replacements, the full diff replacements are probably twice as expensive for the full diff replacement. So in this kit, you're not only getting your track correction, but you're also getting your 2-inch lift, parabolic leaves, which have just been beautiful to drive, loaded and unloaded. So if your Troopy is going to be, or if your car just in general is going to be, you know, multi-use, you're going to take stuff in and out. Parabolics are great for that because they are adaptive to the weight you're putting on them. They ride beautifully, and with that kit, you're getting your coils, your springs, bushes, sway bar upgrades. So it's a big thing to tick off the list. And if you look at GVM upgrades and a track correction that replaces the entire diff, you're going to be looking at quite a bit more money. I think you'd probably be up around the $20,000 mark. And then if you go with coil conversions and things like that, you know, you're probably looking at 30 grand installed. So I think the 13 to 15K is a really good price bracket for something of that quality. Terrain Tamer and Multi-Drive gear is very good quality. And you're just getting a lot of benefits from it. So I think that's a really good upgrade. Okay, moving on. Our BushWrapz Advanced Kit. That is the clear film paint protection on the car. Look, it's a brand new car. We really wanted that paint protection because we're going to be taking this thing to some really remote locations, and it's going to make getting those bush stripes a lot more bearable for us. So the BushWrapz kit, we've got the Advanced Kit, which is sort of the medium range one. And it's a kit which the panels are already cut out and you can install it yourself. It's a DIY kit. We got it installed from a sign writer just because I just wanted it done really well. So that is $1,380, 1,380 bucks. Now, I think if you're getting, you know, brand new shiny Landcruiser, it's definitely worth doing. And at the end of the day, if you're going to be selling the car down the track, you've got to think, at the end of the day, if there was a $50,000 car with scratched up horrible paint, and there was a $55,000 car that was immaculate with beautiful paint, I'm going to buy the $55,000 car any day of the week. Because when someone sees a car that's really clean and well looked after, they will think that that extends into your maintenance and the way you drive it. So I think you will get that 1,300 bucks back, if not more, down the line. So I think it's worth doing. It's worth doing. It's got a 5-year warranty, so I would hazard a guess it's going to last quite a bit longer than that. But a 5-year warranty is pretty good. The Advanced Kit is self-healing, so if it scratches up, it will fade the scratches, and then you won't really notice them as much. Unlike just getting a bush stripe on your paint, you're going to need to cut and polish for that, and even then sometimes your bush stripes can be so bad that's not going to help it. So I think that's a really good upgrade for people wanting to protect their car. All right, moving on to, oh, and sorry, I will run through that. BushWrapz kit, yes, that was sponsored for us. And I actually don't think I mentioned with the GVM and track correction, that was partly sponsored. We still paid for some of that. All right, so moving on to engine mods. So start off with the Safari Armax Snorkle. We paid for that. That was 600 bucks for the Snorkle. That's what you're going to pay for that I just like the Snorkle. It works well, looks good, I think. And then it matches up to the airbox we got with our engine mods. So we got our engine mods done at PDT down in south of Adelaide, just in South Australia. Great guys there. They just use really good quality components. They know what they're doing, very genuine guys. Couldn't recommend them enough. So the whole engine mods, and I'll run through the cost, but everything would cost you $6,500. It cost us, I think we got, a bit of a discount for that. I think we got 30% off for that, but we still paid for it. So those engine mods includes the FFM airbox, which uses the stock air filter, which is fabricated in Australia, really, really nice unit, and it matches up to the Armax Snorkle perfectly. That's $950. The Outback Extreme 1300 Nm clutch, which is pretty important if you're getting a tune or you're towing a lot, was $1,400. And the Manta DPF back exhaust is about $1,000. And then the rest of your costs are in your tune. You're going to get a road tune done. Also includes the labor, obviously, all the install. And then there's other costs in there with the catch can and the fuel filter, the pre-filter, and all the bracketry involved with that, and all the little goodies and hoses and everything. So that's where the rest of those costs come in. We love the engine mods. It's probably one of my favorite things we've done to the car so far. I didn't think we would like it as much as we have. I thought, it'd be great, in sand, and a bit more power is always fun, but just general drivability on the road, it's completely changed your car. So we absolutely love it. But at the end of the day, I think if I was just to select a couple of mods out of that, I think at the end of the day, an airbox and a pre-filter, I think they're no-brainers, because if you're going to travel around Australia, I can guarantee you're going to pick up dodgy fuel somewhere and you're going to drive on dusty roads. So having those basic engine protections could save you just a huge headache down the track with either bad fuel or dusting the engine. So yeah, there's something to consider. So as I said, $6,500 for the engine mods. Going on to the Scan Gauge 3, which is our OBD reader. It just gives us stats for the engine, driving stats, how many Ks we've done for the day, how much it's cost us, which I don't really like because the fuel prices are so crazy at the moment. You see just how much it's costing you as you're driving. But it allows me just to check my EGTs, my engine load, and just make sure my engine's happy, it's running well. So it's definitely, it's a want, not a need, but it's just really nice to have. That's $415. The basic Scan Gauge 2 is definitely a bit cheaper, but that's how much that cost. Paid for that. All right, the Wild Peak tires. Now, we've got the 315s. As I've said in a few videos now, I think there is definitely more convenient size tires to get. I honestly think a 33 is completely sufficient for most people, especially touring. We got the there's some of the 35s. We got the 315s for a few reasons. One, because our travel buddy Adrian has the 315s, so we can swap tires with him. Mainly though, I just really like the way they look. It just gives the car such a cool stance. They just, looks tough. And sometimes doing stuff to a car because you like the way it looks is reason enough in my mind. So another thing to consider with those tires is they're quite expensive because they're a big tire. They probably don't produce huge numbers of them. So they were $550 per corner. They were sponsored. Vulcan has been a sponsor of ours for a while. We've had their tires on Elsie, and we genuinely love those tires. They've performed fantastically. So $550 a corner, we've got 6, that's $3,300 for tires. And the rims from ROH, which were sponsored as well, $1,080. Look, ROH steel rims, they're Australian made. Again, great quality rim. They're widely available, relatively cheap, so to speak, compared to your alloys and stuff like that. So they were $1,080. And really like the way they look on the car. All right, moving on to the rear bar from Cruiser Company. We partially paid for this, I think half price, something around there. But we got some of the accessories for free. So just the rear bar alone is $2,800, and we've got a few accessories on it. Just to give you an idea, a rear bar with tire holder and a twin jerry can holder will set you back $3,450. So that's got your sort of, you know, your jerrys, your tire holder, your main sort of accessories you put on a rear bar. I like the way the bar looks, mainly. I just really like the look of the Cruiser Company bar. I think the lines are great. I think it's probably the best looking rear bar on the market at the moment. Really well made. So good bit of gear. We're gonna have either, because it's modular, the arms on it, which I think is fantastic. So it means we can change the bar for our trips. So when we do the canning, for example, we're definitely gonna take 2 spares. But when we're doing, say, trips around here or trips to Tassie, which are lower Ks, we're probably just gonna be putting our toolbox on there. So we've got a toolbox. It's not on there yet, but will be going on. It's a lockable toolbox that can fit 2 jerrys in it, and it's weather sealed. So we can either put 2 jerrys, or we'll be able to put a chainsaw or something in there. So it just depends on the trip. We'll be able to customize the bar quite easily just by taking the spare tire carrier on and off and putting the toolbox on. So I think that's really, really cool. Lastly, the Oricom tire pressure monitoring system, 220 bucks, good little bit of insurance for your tires. And that pretty much ends what we've done to the car so far. We also have a front runner roof rack on, which I think is a bit over $2,000, I think 2,300. Don't quote me on that, I haven't actually checked that, but that roof rack will be going off along with the rooftop tent eventually when we get the roof conversion on. So how much would that cost you to do in total if you wanted that exact same setup? So keep in mind, I'm trying to put labor costs in, but that might fluctuate. So this price would be pretty on the money, but could be give or take a couple of grand. But in total, so far, that would be $35,505. So yeah, a big jump up in the value of the car. And keep in mind, we have done none of the build out. We've got gullwing windows to go on, the 12 volt system to go in, fridges, center console fridge, front bar, winch, lights, comms, roof conversion. So you can see that this will easily cost the value of the car again. It will be 140,000 plus, probably anywhere in the realm between 140 and 160 grand, I think. This will be a beautifully set up car, probably one of the nicest Troopys in Australia once it's done. And it's all brand new stuff. It's all very good quality stuff. Yeah, it's an expensive process. So I think something to think about though is for $140,000, getting a 2-person touring setup that good. Let's compare it to some other setups you can get for 140 grand. So if you were to buy a 4-wheel drive brand new and a caravan brand new, it's going to cost you more than 140 grand, I would say. I mean, obviously caravans, you know, there's a massive fluctuation in price, but yeah, I think you'd be struggling to get a good, really good quality setup, brand new for a 4-wheel drive and a caravan for 140 grand. I don't think it could really be done. Other things, you know, say a GR Sport 300 series Landcruiser is 140 plus grand. That's just to roll it off the showroom floor. So if you sort of compare it to other 2-person touring rigs, I think 140 is pretty reasonable for the level of comfort, the performance that you're going to get out of it. I mean, this thing's going to be able to go anywhere in comfort and inconvenience as well. I mean, you know, our setup for camp is going to be really, really quick. It's going to be easy. It's going to be comfortable. We're going to have hot water. We're going to have shower. Cooking is going to be, you know, breeze. We're going to have, you know, a quick awning, and it's going to perform very, very well off-road. You know, it's twin locked from factory, big tires, crawls really well. You know, we're going to have all the recovery options. So, yeah, I think compared to other touring vehicles, I actually think it's quite reasonable for something brand new. And as I said, you can trickle this down. You can pick up a cheap 1HZ troop carrier and do pretty much the same setup for a fraction of the price, you're either just going to have to do the work yourself or just compromise a bit on the gear and maybe not necessarily the quality, but the features that it has. So yeah, look, I hope that video was informative, and if you're getting a Troopy yourself, that might give you a bit of an idea of how much it's going to cost you. Look, if you have any questions, I would love to hear them down in the comments below. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you're thinking about doing similar things to your own car, and similar things or different things you're going to be doing to your car. I'd just love to hear, love to have a conversation in the comments about that. So look, really appreciate you guys watching. We've got more build videos coming out soon. We're really keen for the next phase, which is going to be build out and a lot of really exciting things. And I suppose, look, have a good summer holidays if you're going anywhere. Enjoy some time off. If you want a bit of merch, maybe a last minute Chrissy present, we got lots of hats, t-shirts, things available in our store, so check that out. Anyways, guys, I'll leave that there. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.